down here. Basically what I'm doing, I'm a little 440, because I'm going in here and gathering up logs, and I'm bringing them out here to this kind of deck type area. I'll bring them out 2 at a time, usually. John will then back up to the old 548, like so. And he's off to the races. Now the reason we're doing this is kind of a long drag where we're at. And that 548 grapple's got a little more power, a power shift transmission, to where this 440 does not. It's just all around a lot faster, more powerful skidder. So, for us, rather than have me trying to drag logs up there as well, it's just as quick for me to come out back here, grab these logs and bring them up here and feed John. And then if I get so far ahead of him, I'll then take a drag out to the deck as well. This is a kind of a system we tried here 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it seemed to work pretty well. This is the first time we've ever done it. But like I said, it's working pretty well for us. So this morning, Dad and I cut. While Dad and I were cutting, John was dragging, because we come out here yesterday, Sunday, which is Father's Day. My dad, myself, and my Uncle Kevin, who's just kind of started working with. My Uncle Kevin's my oldest uncle, and his dad's oldest child. As most of you know, that Roger's my granddad, but I call him Dad. So my Uncle Kevin just moved back to Stockton. He's been gone for several years. He just retired from American Airlines. He had a really good job with them. He's wanting to come back and just kind of have something to do and get into logging. So far, he's really enjoying it, and he likes coming to work every day. And it's kind of nice having my oldest uncle here. So him and Dad right now are working the deck, but this morning Kevin was working the deck. So it's a pretty good system as long as we can keep everything flowing good. Try to get backed up to this level here. Alright. That should do it. I do not miss running a skidder day in and day out at all. I feel I'm most productive for the whole company when I'm cutting timber. I feel that's where I need to be as far as making things happen, being efficient. I can still jump on the skidder, obviously, and if I've got to do it, I've got to do it. But at the same time, if I can cut timber, I'm going to cut timber. I'd rather have a saw in my hand. But we really hadn't planned on starting this patch of the timber yet. A lot of timber here. This goes really, it's wide, and it goes to the north quite a ways. So there's a lot of good timber out here. A lot of pecan. Cut a few walnut this morning. Some bur oak. A lot of water oak. Just river bottom type timber like we've been cutting. There'll be a little ash and maple out there as well, especially back closer to the creek. The reason why we didn't want to cut this yet is just because of the drag. We were wanting to wait till this fall when they harvested. That way we could just drag right out there where you see and load trucks out there. But you know what? I don't mind. As long as we're producing wood, I'm happy. That's the main thing. So I'm going to get this one hooked up, take her out there, and have John another drag ready. he's cutting, I'm on the skidder, and Kevin's working the deck. That's all Dad wants to do. I really didn't want to run the skidder today. I wanted to cut this morning. But he insisted on him cutting and me running the skidder. So I'm back over here. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon. A lot of times in the summertime when it gets hot, I'll try to work of a morning, then come back of an afternoon and work more kind of till dark when it starts to cool down a little bit. Just it's easier on me cutting. I like to think it's a little easier on the machines too when the heat goes down. As far as dragging, I might try to make a few drags later on. My main priority tonight is try to get some of these trees on the ground, get them ready for tomorrow. We are extremely low on room on our deck. They were supposed to come get some logs. Well, they were supposed to get them last week. Of course, I had to pile all these up to make room for all this stuff here. And we're starting 4 rows deep now. This is right out here's the start of the 4th row, so that's a deceiving pile. There's a little more footage there than a person thinks if you kind of get to looking at it. So really, it's going to get to the point to where they're not going to have much of a place to turn around back here because, and we're kind of running low on room, the edge there to drag logs anyway. So it's kind of hurting us, and I don't like handling the logs any more than I have to with the skid steer, and I've already handled them more than I want, aside from dragging them out, bucking them, laying them out, then putting them back in another pile. So we definitely don't want to move them from this pile to another. And I think they did come get a load today, but it looks like they got them up here instead of getting them back here where we really needed to get them. So whatever. We're going to keep pumping some wood out. One thing I am proud of, Brandon and I got my new shiny hose reel put on Monday night. pretty happy with that. Have that there. Now we got it put on, and of course that's all we've got it done. I think Brandon was getting the other pieces to actually hook it up to the compressor, because we thought we had the fittings we need and we didn't. So other than it just being on here and looking cool, that's about all it's doing right now. My actual air compressor hose is in the box on the other side, so we're looking cool, but that's really all we're doing. No functionality right now with that. But you know, I've had that thing a year and a half, and we just now got it put on. It's a little procrastination for you. So guys, we've got water and stuff here in the back, water and Powerade. It's pretty important to keep that stuff this time of year when it's hot. So let's go back here and try to get some trees on the ground, because Dad and Kevin and I were talking this morning. When we get this next set out, I'd like to see at least 25,000 feet or better is what I'd like to see. I mean, really better. I mean, honestly, I was kind of thinking I'd really like to have 30 or better, but at least 25. So in this pile here, there's going to be quite a bit of pecan, so it should run the average up a little bit. A lot of water oak still. That's okay. As long as we're staying busy cutting something, that's the name of the game. There's plenty of logs out, but we need to keep on pumping. Let's go. Things break. Things break. Coming out of a drag, it was going to be the last drag before we took lunch, and busted a hose, grapple cylinder hose, which pretty easy to take off. Actually, it can be when you first look at it, it can be a little confusing, because it actually goes into this little rotator here, housing type deal. Back side there you can see, then just straight down through, which the busted hoses are just inevitable. It happens. I don't care what kind of equipment you have. If you got hydraulics, you're going to have busted hoses. Funny rule of thumb, a guy told me one time. He was kind of joking, but he kind of wasn't. He said, if you got something that has hydraulics and it ain't leaking, you better check to make sure it's got oil in it. And there's almost a truth to that, because it seems like it's kind of like putting your finger in the dike. You plug one leak and out shoots another one. But we try our best to keep these machines pretty dry. It is a full-time job between keeping cylinders packed, busted hoses, just a variety of things, because these log skidders are just a hydraulic nightmare. So when we go into lunch here in just a second, we'll let Kevin finish piling these right here from this morning. Had a pretty good morning. We'll let him finish these, kind of make some room for when we come back. We've got several on the ground, need to get out. Dad had a pretty good morning cutting. Going to be quite the deck of logs there. I think they're 4 rows deep right now, and I'd say this afternoon we'll be going 5 rows deep pretty easily, because these big trees, they add up pretty quick. My Uncle Kevin's really getting the hang of that skid steer there. For a guy that's never really ran any equipment before in his life, he's just kind of jumped on there and picked it up. He's getting a little better on it every day. It takes some time, like anything, you know, especially with no experience at all. You kind of jump on there and learn the ropes, and he's being extra cautious, which that's always a plus. I sometimes have to tell him not to worry about it, just give it some throttle and go. But it is nice to see him be cautious with equipment. He'll get the hang of it. It's been pretty nice having him on the deck to keep the deck clean. He measures and marks logs, bucks, and sorts, so that's handy to have a guy like that. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.